Welcome back to the course on cryptography and system security. During our previous session, I had started discussing about CSS cipher technique, as well as we discussed about different design principles through which we can design a CSS cipher technique. Under that, we discussed about different factors like block size as well as key size, and then the round function, the complexity of the subkey generations, and then we discussed about the possibility of the hardware as well as software which will be used for encryption, then decryption process, right? Then we started discussing about data encryption standard, right? Basically that is a block cipher encryption technique. This data encryption standard technique which accepts a 64-bit plain text, and that is going to be applied with the 64-bit key. Actual key size is 64-bit. Out of that we are going to use only a 56-bit key, right? The 56-bit key, based on that the technique whatever we use, right? So that is going to be applied with the different list of operations, right? So I'll continue with that session, right? If this is a 64-bit plain text, first that is going to be divided into left 32 as well as right 32-bit. We are not going to do any operation in the left 32-bit, and then the right 32-bit operations, right 32-bit, right? So that we are going to do use for a list of operation. Before that, whatever the key we have, right, 64-bit, out of the 64-bit we are going to use only a 56-bit key. Now the 56-bit key, this key also which is divided into two of 28 bits, 28 bits each, and each block of keys which are going to be applied to the left shift with respect to the S. So this can be decided by the programmer, right? Suppose if I am considering my S value equal to 18, so this 28-bit key which are left shifted by 8 bits. Similarly, this 28 bits also left shifted by 8 bits. And by combining all these left shifted two halves, so 28 plus 28, I'll get 56. Out of that 56, using a permutation charge to PC2, I'll select only a 48-bit key. Right. So we studied in the previous encryption techniques, different lectures, right? And so make sure that the plain text size as well as the key size should be equal. So, but when we consider about this, the right half of the plain text, which is 32-bit in size, but the key size which we derived from the different operations, permutation choice 1 and then permutation choice 2, we derived a 48-bit key. So there might be a mismatch with the actual information 32 plus. So here the plain text is 32 and the key size equal to 48. Now, so there is some mismatch in the size of the values. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add some values. So which means that I'm going to add some 16 extra bits so that this will becomes a 48. So 48-bit plain text and then 48-bit key. I'll apply to the XOR operation 48 of this, 48 of this, and so this will produce a 48-bit output. I hope this is clear. For that, so we are using this expansion or E table, right? So from with the help of that expansion or E table, my 38-bit data which are expanded to 48-bit. So now this is what the expansion table, right? So if this is my 32-bit values 1 to 32, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So till 32. So from here to here, which is 32-bit. But when I apply expansion function, additional 16 bits. So this is 8-bit. This is again 8-bit. Some of the keys, right, which are repeated twice, right? So 32 plus 16, I'll get 48-bit, right? So with the help of this permutation, sorry, with the help of this expansion table, my 32-bit data which has been mapped or which has been expanded to 48-bit. Now, this 48 bit, if I apply into the XOR operation, which produce a 48 bit. Is it clear? I hope this is clear. If is there any query, you can write in the chat box. Is there any query? Any query regarding this explanation part? Okay, I'm getting a positive acknowledgement from your side. Okay, so whatever we did, 32 bit, which has mapped into 48 bit, again 48 bit plain text, 48 bit key, which is producing a 48 bit output. Now, from this 48 bit output, again we are going to convert, or we are going to shrink into 32 bit, right? So why we are doing this, adding some extra values and then removing some extra values, all these operations, right, which are increasing the security, so that the user or the attacker will not get a complete idea what is happening behind, what type of data which they've added, what they have removed it, right? So using the substitution or S-box technique. Now the substitution technique, which receives a 48 bit input and which produces 32 bit output, right? Now I'll explain how this S-box operation which works. Now I was explaining about, so this is 32 bit and using expansion table, now we are getting a 48 bit, and this is keys derived from the permutation choice 2, which is 48 bit, 48 bit of plain text and 48 bit of key, which produces a 48 bit intermediate ciphertext. Now what we are going to do is that from this 48 bit, again we wanted to reduce to 32 bit. So for that we are going to use a S-box technique. S-box is an operation, right, which will accept the 6 inputs: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which accepts 6 inputs, and that will produce only 4 outputs. So there are total 8 S boxes. Each S box will accept 6 inputs. So 8 S box into 6 input, which is 48 bits, and each will produce a 4 bit output. So 8 into 4 will get 32 bit output. So by combining all these 4 bits, so here we are getting 32 bit. So what we did so far, using the S-box operation, the concept behind the S-box operation is that when we receive the 48 bit input, right, or 48 bit output from the previous steps, right, so that are going to be converted into 38 bit, right, where with the help of the S-box operation, where each S-box will receive 6 inputs and that will produce 4 outputs. So total 48 bit inputs and 32 bit outputs. I hope this is clear. So this S-box operation, see here you can see the symbol. Input is small and the output is bigger in the expansion. That means that 32 to 48. So here we are maximizing the outputs. But when it comes to the substitution, here the input is bigger and then here the output is smaller. So here we are reducing the size. So 48 to 32 bit. Whatever the output we are getting from the S box, which is 32 bit, that has to be applied to the any permutation operation, so that which will be the jumbled 32 bit output. Now this output, whatever the output which you are getting, that is going to be finally XORed with the left half of 32. So left plain text is 32 and the output which we received from the permutation, which is 32. So 32 bit of left and then 32 bit of right. So these two value will be applied to the XOR operation and that will produce a 32 bit. So now this is right 32 bit, right? And the plain text which we used before the expansion operation. This 32 bit will become the left 32. So here 32 bit, here 32 bit. The entire operation which will comes or which will be called as a step 1. And whatever the operation we are performing here, this expansion table, XR function, substitution, permutation, all these operations which we are calling F. F is the Fiestal function what we studied. Any doubts? Once if this round 1 is over, and then so this will be the input for the left, and this is the right half of the data. Now here we are getting a 56 bit key, I mean 28 plus 28 56, and the entire operation which has to be repeated for 16 times. Okay, so this is one time operation, and so this has to be repeated for, instead times I will use the word steps. So this has to be repeated for 16 times or 16 steps. I hope this is clear. If you have any queries, any doubts? If you are clear with the concepts, at least you can write clear in the chat box so that I'll come to know whether you are clear with the concepts or whether some more clarification required on the topic. Accordingly, I will proceed. Okay. Akshay, any clarification required? What about others? Okay, good. I hope you all understood what is the data encryption standard and how the different operations are carried out using the list of operation which I explained. All right. Now I'll explain with the logics. Right. There are two bits. Sorry, there are two 32 bit left and then right. And this is R minus 1, I minus 1 for all the previous steps, right? And then it takes 32 bit of right half of the data and 48 bit subkey which is produced from the PC2. Now the right half of the data which are expanded to 48 bit using expansion permutation which is E table, and as to subkey which has been derived from the permutation choice 2 which is 48 bit, right? And so this will produce again 48. So this entire values which are going to be passed to the 8 S boxes to get a 32 bit results. Whatever the 32 bit results which you are getting, so that is applied to the permutation, 32 bit permutation, right? And whatever the output we are going to get from the 32 bit permutation operation, that is going to be applied to the XR with the left half of the data. After that, the results are swapped, and this process has to be repeated for 16 times or 16 rounds. Okay. So this is again a detailed explanation how the SBox operation which works, right? Again, so here we can take that if the outer bits 1 and 6, right, which has now again I wanted to show you the how the SBox operation which works, right? I'll just open the table. me a second. Right. So let's try to understand how the SBox operation which works, right? I was explaining about that. The SBox operation which accepts a 6 bits inputs and which will produce a 4 bits output, right? So 6 bits input and then 4 bits as output, right? So out of this, the first and 6 bit, right, which are used to define the rows, and then 2 to 5 which are defining the column bits. Say for example, if it is 01006, the first and last, which is considered as the row value, and then remaining the 4 bits, which is 2 to 5, which is considered as the column value. So, and with the help of the specific table, right? If you are verifying the values in the first row and then 12th column, whatever the value which you are getting, it's 9, and the 9's corresponding the binary value which is 1001. So that will be the output of the S box, right? So here you'll find this, if this is what the number which is given, this is what the S box table which is given, right? Where max to max you have 16 columns and 4 rows. If this is what the input, right, I might be, so this might be with the different numbers, right? 110010, out of that 1 and 0 which will be considered as the row. So 10 is 2, and the column value 1001 which is 9, right? Intersection of this row and then column will get 12. So 12's corresponding binary value which is 1100. I hope this is clear how this SBox operation which is performed. Now, whatever the table which I am showing here, this is the standard table value for SBox operation. Suppose if you are getting the value, the 6-bit value which is 101010. In that cases, also this can be identified how the SBox output can be calculated. The first and last value which are going to be considered as the row value which is 10, so 000110, which is 2 again. And when we talk about, here I mentioned 0101, what is the decimal value for this 0101? What is the decimal value for 0101?
5.
So if we are doing the intersection of this rows and column, so here it is 5, this is 1 2 4. So if I add all these value, so 4 plus 1 which is 5. So 2 and second row, fifth column which is 6. So I'll get 1 1 0. So 0 1 1 0 is the output which I got from the S box operation. I hope this is clear. Any clarification required? Any further explanation required for how this SBox operation which works, which produces, which accepts the input and how it produces the output? So basically, this SBox operation which will accept six inputs, all those six inputs which are going to be converted into 4 bits of output using the SBox table, right? How the six inputs are converted into 4 output means the first and the last bit which are going to be considered for the row value, and then the middle 4 bits are going to be considered for the column value, intersection of the rows and columns, and we'll get the decimal value, the corresponding decimal value. So here max to max will get only 16 because all the output which will be max to max will have 16 or 15. So here all the outputs are binary values. For the 15 is again 1111. Correct? Or 0111. What is the binary value for 12? 8, 4, 2, 1. So 1111 will be the binary value for the 15. So max to max you will get this value, right? By the way, we'll get the output from the SBox as a 4 bits. I hope this is clear. The same detailed explanation with respect to the keys, right? I explained bit in the previous slide itself, right? Now, when we talk about the decryption function, right? For all decryption functions, right? Whatever this is again, so this is symmetric encryption technique. All the operations are reversible, right? If I explain with the diagram, right? So here, when we talk about this encryption, here decryption, whatever the input which you are receiving as a ciphertext, right? Again, which are going to be reversed from the 16th round. So here in the encryption, we started with the round 1, round 2, round 3, and then round 4 till round 16. But when it comes for the decryption, right, it is going to consider from the 16th round. It is going to start from the 16th round, and then whatever the output which produces, that will pass to the 15th round, and then 14th round, and till round 1, and whatever the output which are getting, again that are going to be swapped, and finally we'll get the actual output which is plain text. How I am saying that this is symmetric key generations, right? So whatever the key which we used, K16, K15, K2, K1, the same key which are going to be used for decryption, K16, K15, K2, K1. When you talk about a symmetric key encryption, the key which is used for encryption, the same key which are going to be used for, sorry, the key which is used for encryption, the same key which are going to be used for decryption. So that technique which we are calling as asymmetric encryption technique, right? I hope this is clear how the decryption process takes place in data encryption standard. Any doubts so far? Okay, if you are clear with the substitution, I mean DES, right? Then we'll proceed with the next, right? Next, another concept, which is avalanche effect. When we talk about this avalanche effect, right? This is completely depends upon the algorithm or the program which we uses, right? If there is any change in the key which we uses, where a change of one input or a key bit which results in changing approximately half of the bits as output. Whatever the key which I chooses, right? Suppose if I'm just changing the one bit key, which is rather than the actual key, right? If there is a small change in the key, 1 bit or 2 bit, right? So that will completely gives a different output, right? So this is an effect of avalanche. If you are changing, if any algorithm which allows to change a bit or change it a bit, a key bit, right, that automatically will lead to produce a different ciphertext. So this effect is called a avalanche effect. I hope this is clear. Next we'll be discussing about the strength of DES. Now we were talking about a 56-bit key. Okay, so when we consider about the 56-bit key, right, the time or the combination which we require to crack is that 2 power 56, right? Because we are going to try any different combination values where the size is equal to 56, right? Which obviously which is a 2 power 56 combination, and these many values we need to, the key values we need to try in order to crack the password or crack the, or in order to identify the key value. But when we are considering the entire process, right, which is, so total 16 rounds. So here I have mentioned it, right, which is into 10 power 16. So that, so this much time we required in order to crack the password or crack the key. So which obviously which requires more than this 24 hours. So this was proven, right, above combined, so which is almost near about 22 hours which was required in order to crack the password based on the technique whatever they have used, different configuration devices which they have used. Though this DES operation which has, which we are using a 56-bit key, right, where which is 7 to 10 power 6 values, right, where we need to use a different keys for each rounds. Though this much complexity, the technologies which has improved so that will crack the password if you are continuously trying, depends upon the, your hardware as well as the software efficiency. So this was no compromised in 22 hours. So still this is not providing a complete security, so that we may think of the alternate solutions through that we can attain a security for the secure transmissions of the block cipher techniques. Right? When we talk about the brute force attack, what is this brute force attack? Any idea about what is this brute force attack or the birthday attack? Anybody can say the answer?
Trying every combination possible.
Yes. So when we talk about the brute force attack, you are well said, right? Brute force attack, which is something that, so the user or the attacker, he may be having some information about what data which are going to be transmitted or what type of key which might be used, right? And based on that, see here, if he knows that, if the attacker knows that there are 56 keys available or 56-bit key used, and he will try all the 56-bit keys, 1 2 3 4 until 56, right? And he will try all these combination 56 factorials, right, in order to get the key. And so this 56 factorial, out of this 56 factorial keys, right? And you need to try all the key values in order to get to match with the ciphertext. So this type of attack, which is called a brute force attack, where the user will try all the possible keys, right? I mean that all the values which likely to be a key, which is used. And when we talk about the birthday attack, right, where the attacker, he does not have any idea about what type of encryption which is used, what type of key they have used. It is completely blind, but he will also try through the different techniques. He will try for the correct technique. He will identify the correct technique, and then he will identify the correct key which is used for encryption then decryption process. Right? I hope this is clear. So here again, when we talk about again the timing attack again, so this may require more time. It was no, though it is using larger key, right? This the security which can be increased. This is completely based on the sub key generations. Depends upon the key which we uses, right? Again, the key calculation or the ciphering time which may increases. So by the way, you can delay the breaking the passwords, right? So when we are transmitting this information, when you are transferring any information or time order information using the DES encryption technique, right? In that cases, so if you are using the complex keys or different sub keys for each rounds, right? And so that may delay the attacker to crack the password by the time the message might have reached the destination. Okay, if you are clear with that concepts, then we'll proceed with the next topic, which is block cipher modes of operation. I just wanted to recall the things whatever we learned from the block cipher encryption technique using DES. For that, can you all see the open board? Can you all see the open board? No? Now can you all see the open board? Okay. So there are certain factors you need to remember when it comes to the DES, right? What is the size of the plain text, which is 64-bit, and then key size, which is 64-bit, and this 64-bit using permitted choice 1, so will convert into 56, right? Now this 64-bit which we are dividing into 32, otherwise what I'll do is that I'll just write vertically. You'll get that. 64-bit plain text, 64-bit key. Now this is divided into left 32, right 32. Now here using this permitted choice 1, so we are getting as 56. From 56 using permitted choice 2. This includes all the left shift operations. Okay, one second, give me a second. Now this is also divided into 2, 28, and then 28. All these values which are applied onto the left shift operation, right? So here we'll get 56 and 50, 28, 28, 56. Using this permitted choice 2, we'll get 48-bit key. Now this 32-bit operation which are applied to the expansion box E. So 32 which are going to be converted into 48. So this 48 plus this 48, which are applied to the XOR operation. This is XOR operation, and this produce 48 bit. Now this 48 bit which is applied to the SBox function, which produce 32 bit. Now again we'll be getting this permutation function, and which produce 32 bit, right? So here we'll get again the same kind of keys. This is K1. Again from this key, again we'll proceed further. Now whatever the value which you are getting here, so that is going to be XORed with the left 32, 32, 32 output we are getting here. So which will becomes right 32. R1, R2, which is 32. So here this left of data will become, so the right of data which will become left to R2. So here this process will be repeated. And what is the output for each function? Which is 64 bit. So what is my plain text size, which is 64? My key size equal to 64 out of 56 for permitted choice 1, and then 48 for permitted choice 2, right? And then how many rounds? Which is 16 rounds. This entire operation from the yes till this permutation. This is F function, F or FSL function, right? So at the end we'll get 64 bit, and so this has to be repeated for 16 times. What are the output you are getting at the end? So that will be your 16 times, and by the end we'll get 64-bit ciphertext. So this is for one block of 64. Likewise, if you have another blocks 64, 64, 64, all these blocks which are to be undergo with the list of operation, and which will produce 64, 64-bit ciphertext. Now this entire ciphertext values are combined, and that is going to be transferred to the receiver in the form of ciphertext, right? And you will be receiving these entire values, and then you will divide into 64 bit blocks, and then you will do the decryption process. Okay, any queries regarding this data encryption standards? So you may expect this question for your examination, maybe for 10 marks or 5 marks. They may ask you to explain about only the SBox operation with an example, given example, or they may ask you to explain about a symbol or single round function, right? So with this, we are coming to the end of our today's session. From our next session, we'll learn about the different modes of block cipher operation. There are different variants how the block cipher operation are going to be performed, that we'll study in detail. Any further queries?